All right, well, another talk of the town in the video game industry lately has been this petition and movement, Stop Killing Games. And now I very greatly know exactly what this is about, and something has pissed me off for a very fucking long time. It's something that, in many ways, is like, as a true-hearted gamer, us true-hearted gamers are the type of people who will play anything just for curiosity. I mean, there's shitty games, there's stupid games, there's old silly games. I'll play anything because it's just funny and fun to check out. And that's part of the entertaining of games. And sometimes it's just curiosities of old games and things that we can take a look at. But I mean, and this has happened for a long time, but a lot in modern games, is that they'll just kind of just ruin a game. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started by challenge legality of publishers destroying video games that have sold customers. Increasing number of games are sold effectively as goods with no stated expiration date. This gives you an idea of the scumbaggery of modern games. You pay for a game, and then suddenly you're just not able to play it. 1 year down the road, 2 years down the road, 5 years down the road, a few weeks. We'll get to that example. But it is time to say, you know what? If we've paid for something, it's fucking ours. Just get like that is how it works, motherfuckers. Like sign of the dotted line and there's the thing. No. It's like if you have an N64 and you have Super Mario 64, you can play it and you'll always be able to play it. That's what should always be with video games because video games is like a true art form. It's this cool digital worlds that we can explore. And to be able to just shut them down is absolute bullshit. So I don't think I can sign this because I'm not a European citizen. I was checking into it, but I support it because, like, and with everything nowadays, look at the streaming services, look at the Netflixes, look at how they can pick and choose what movies we can and can't watch, and you know what I mean, and like disable your smartphone because it's past its expiration date, and shut off your car because you stopped your fucking payments, weird shit like that. Like obviously the world's a complex place, but Stop Killing Games is a good thing. It's something that screwball CEOs at game companies would hate because they don't want to do that. That's difficult for them. And you know what the stupid thing is? They want to control what you own. They want to be able to shut your game off so you buy the new fucking one. And yeah, I mean, that is the gist of it. And that's the gist of what pisses people off. Now let's look at some examples. Now, Anthem was a shitty game. Nobody liked it. Nobody wanted it. But they're closing it down, and I'm assuming you'll never be able to play a working build of the game after January 2026, which I don't really care about. I mean, I would have liked to one day just pop into Anthem, fly around, and see what it is all about, but for nothing more than a couple bucks, maybe, on the sale. But at the same time, the fact that they just like would take that away and just be like, you'll never get to see Anthem again is absolute bullshit. Now, a tragic example for me was Orcs Must Die Unchained, a game that me and my bro fucking loved. And look at the scores on it. 93% people liked it. But maybe it wasn't making them money. Maybe they weren't, doing enough stuff. Maybe they weren't, maybe they didn't get the revenue they were thinking, and they just closed the whole thing down, and you can't officially access it anymore. Now I have a working build that I've been tinkering around with that people have managed to get it to work again, which is fucking amazing, but it's not perfect. And it's not something that I overly like using at the time until they updated and it's more like the classic game. But with a game like this, okay, now I see there's complexities with MMOs and it's like you've got these big servers that, make everything run. But with a game like Orcs Must Die Unchained, how fucking difficult would it be for a bunch of programmers to spend an afternoon making a playable land build for the people who have spent money on this? Microtransactions. I spent about 20 fucking dollars on this thing. So my money just is gone. It's like $20 I've spent is gone. I mean, there's lots of examples of that in the real world, but in the world of video games, it's just not enough. It's not enough that game devs just can be like, okay, sorry, it's not as profitable as we want. We're not going to allow anybody to ever play it again. Another one too was Star Wars Galaxies. I thought Star Wars Galaxies was rough, but a very interesting compilation. Now, thankfully, it looks like you can live in Star Wars Galaxies still, and I can't wait to check that out. We're definitely gonna go down that rabbit hole one day, and maybe give it a little time to break. But this was a very interesting game from my childhood that was an MMO, and I thoroughly liked living in this world and living in this kind of strange Star Warsy type world. And one day they just pulled the plug on it, and you just fucking can't play it anymore. Now, maybe yes, it was something very much, but there should be a way to take an MMO and make it like, even at very minimum, single player esque. Allow you to just kind of live in the world, and maybe put in NPC characters, care about video games. And this is a little bit of a rough example because yeah, there was a lot of complexities to it, but I think I think it was a great game, and it's such a crime that they're able to just pop these away from these. MMOs are a difficult example, but man, if you love the games and you have memories with your family or people you loved, and you play the game and one day you want to revisit and it's just fucking gone, like that is dumb bullshit. Now, hilarious example is our favorite game, Concord. Now, I really didn't give a shit when it got pulled. In fact, I found it kind of funny and I loved it. 4% of people like that's golden, Concord. Look at the reviews on it. Oh, that's golden. Look at this person's plus review. I haven't had that much fun playing a hero shooter. So I mean, Concord's another great example. Like, it's not an MMO. You could have a fucking team of developers in fucking a day, come up with a fucking, it's a hero shooter. It's like, make a land mode that just like anybody who bought, like, how did that work? They shut the game down. Like, how about all those people who bought it on PS5 and they fucking couldn't play it? If I had a, imagine, okay, let's get a scenario here. Imagine my grandma bought me Concord for PlayStation 5. She wrapped it in a present. Was gonna give it to me on Christmas. She forgot. She bought me a bunch of games, but this one that kind of fell behind the TV, and it's like no. And I find it years and years afterwards, after she's passed, and I wanted to relive a video game that she had bought me in the store, and it was thinking of me and wanted me to play it. I'm fucking popping it in PS5 and it wouldn't fucking work. So what the shit is that, Concord? I don't know. It's like, certainly I'm not like a IT professional or a video game developer, even though I'm probably more competent than 95% of the fucking idiots coming up with these games. Is like, there has to be a way to make it accessible, even if there was some type of way to just allow you to play in the maps and play around with it. But as far as I know, plenty of these games, the second you try and load them up, it's just like, servers are offline, you're fucked, exit out of the game, and it's just like a program that doesn't run anymore. It's bullshit. Now, a crazy example is if we go way back into older games, and I'm a big game preservation person because I love to check out older games. I love to curiously check out, older engines and play around in like Jack 3 on the PS2, even though, I have it, on that on for actual like a legitimate copy for and a PS2. How cool is it to just pop on emulators and just check out older games, and most of them work pretty well, and the emulator scene and ROMs that people have made and made playable, they deserve a fucking Nobel Peace Prize for that shit. Because these motherfuckers wouldn't allow you to do anything. Look at Nintendo. What Nintendo does with their online service. And they make it literally like you have to buy a subscription service. I can't just go in and buy an N64 game for my Switch because it's just there's no such thing, right? Like if there was a marketplace called the N64 marketplace, and for $3.99 you could buy this game and you could buy that game, and they would try to upload their entire back catalog of games to the Switch store, so you could just have whatever N64 game or SNES game. I mean, I know that there's a lot of that, but developers should care more about the art form than as video games. Instead, they just don't give a fuck about it. They'll do anything to make money, and really, you can't really blame them because that's what humanity is all about, making the most money. Fuck anything good or grand. But yeah, it pisses me off that older games are just, and maybe ROMs and emulators have a thing to do with it. Maybe they don't think that anybody's gonna play as many of the obscure SNES titles because you could just go and get an emulator in 20 minutes and have it all running. I've done it, and my heart blesses the emulation and ROM communities because you guys have made the ability to play games that would have been gone forever. Unless you had a old dusty SNES cartridge laying around, and plenty of people are into that scene as well. But games need to be preserved so they can be studied. That is like you'll see millions of videos on YouTube about that shit. And it's good stuff. And the ROM and emulation community have fucking knocked it out of the park, because even games like DOS games, they're hard to get going. They're hard to find. It's old stuff, and more often than not, the best stuff is taken, repackaged, resold for inexorbitant prices, like what Blizzard and Activision does. And yeah, there's plenty of problems. Now this Stop Killing Games petition is like, are they going to get anything legally passed? Like really? Like, I mean, how much would governments really care about an Ubisoft that puts in their official terms and conditions, we can stop the game from being playable at any moment, like oops, and you say yes to that, and they do it. How much are governments going to say, hey, that's like, you should work towards like letting people play your games? Following years filled with unsuccessful positions, disregard for those powers, Stop Killing Games' latest petition addressed the European Commission that breathed new life into a movement, attracting attention to even outside the EU. Yeah, because, I mean, I don't think I can sign it because I'm not in the EU, but still. PewDiePie, Most Critical, and others gaining hundreds of thousands of signatures. Yeah, like, I mean, these people are champions for good gaming ethics. That's what I call it, gaming ethics. You don't just take away a renowned game because it's not making you any money. Put in some fucking effort and allow people. You could probably even make money off of it somehow. As far as I know, it doesn't cost money having like a microtransaction section in Steam up for games that are 10 years old, because there's plenty of older games that are just sitting on Steam that are so obscure and probably have 2 people in game right now, but yet they're purchasable on the Steam platform. So I mean, don't give me this bullshit like like anything is better than nothing. I'd think to have it just in there. It's just the fact that I think it's less of a case like in anthems, and I think that I think it's less of a case that it's some financial burden for them to keep it all running, is that they don't want you playing older games. They don't want people looking into these games. They want you to not play those games. They want you to buy new games. And for me, who's someone who really, really likes older games, for me, who's someone who had countless hours and an amazing Christmas adventure and Orcsmas Dad, and we're doing all this stuff, and the wonderful, whimsical world of it all that is now impossible to access, it's it's such a crying shame that they just take games away and make them hard to access. And to me, there should be an initiative for all gamers to explore older games that just are interesting. And that is a good, valid point that should be addressed. And it looks like Stop Killing Games is things. We don't want a world where they take away our right to play older games so that we have to buy whatever new shit they come out with. I want the freedom at any time, and mostly I do this, is just to play games that interest me. That if it came out yesterday, sure. If it's a game that came out 10 years ago, sure. There's no parallel between what games I want to play and what games, they want me to play. What I want to play is what is out there and interesting to me, not what Ubisoft wants. And I think that they have Concord is playable. I think they have a working build. No, Concord is not playable. Now that's a lie that came from AI because I saw Luke Stevens playing a working build. Someone was trying to play Concord. Like they have you have people who are brilliant, tinkering with this shit. Like I've seen people playing Concord. It's funny. It's funny stuff. And you should be able to just load up a LAN video game or LAN game in Concord. The Concord was a stupid fucking goddamn game, yes, but like to just if it was $1 on Steam, me and my bro would probably load up into it. I'd probably make a fucking video on it just to play around and screw around in these digital worlds. That is like the essence of gaming, is to just fuck around and have fun. And that is really what I champion Stop Killing Games at doing, is that like let's stop this practice, at least in morality, of what, let's make it is a ethical standard for video games that whatever you come out with, whatever you release, make it accessible so we can check it out one time. No matter how bad it did commercially, no matter how much little money it's or how little money it's making at the current time. Let's make games about preservation, because preserving games is the most important thing, because digital media is completely and utterly secure in our modern world. We have the internet. We have basically every video game known to man somewhat seeable via YouTube plays, via ROM emulator, via Steam, which is just amazing platform. And then you have all the physical media that exists out in their world. And there's that collector's world, like, I mean, I'm sure plenty of people have fun just tracking down a solid game that they can hold in their hand, pop in their console anytime they want, and it's just there until it stops working. And they have what's it called? Refurbs, or so, like remakes kind of thing. So people are, I forget the word for it, but it's literally like someone makes a Mario 64 cartridge and maybe sells it. I don't know if that's legal or not, but it's theoretically possible. When I was a kid, and this is definitely not, like, I think it was one of the more loose gray areas of all things. There used to be a family in my neighborhood that figured out how to burn PlayStation 1 CDs so we could buy brand new PlayStation games for like $5, and they were selling them It was hilarious and definitely not technically legal. I'm sure, but as we're kids, we don't care. Video games are like this thing in the cloud, this magical force that is just like a digital world that you can just fly off to and explore, with your friends or your families or your loved ones. And anytime they try and take away those digital worlds from us because they think they're theirs, that's not right. That's not right. And I 100% support Stop Killing Games. I think that people are passionate enough in the world about video games, people like me who just love video games and are quote unquote pro gamers, just know everything about video games because that's our fucking life. I think that we're making progress by at least being loud about it. Look at the YouTube revolution where there's just millions of people watching and absorbing themselves in gaming culture every day. You're not gonna win against gamers, man. Gamers fucking fight to the bitter end for what they love, and anybody who is passionate about something that brings them joy is gonna fight for it, and that's what Stop Killing Games is gonna do.